What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil, and right now I want to talk about red flags in a relationship. A lot of times, when we prior to us actually getting in a relationship where we actually put titles on it, there are some red flags that we may have overlooked, and a lot of times it's because we got another motive. You know what I'm saying? Our motive, especially as men, most of the time is just to smash and go or whatever. But what I'm talking about today is really red flags for individuals that may be on their way to putting a title on a relationship, or you already might be in one. And then, this will help you reflect back on some of the red flags that you overlooked. And a red flag pretty much is really a stop sign. It's like a stop sign. And what it should do for you is make you stop and think, before you move forward with this situation. Some of these, I wrote them down. So if you see me look down, it's because I wrote them down because I was thinking about them and I didn't want to forget nothing. Now, this is not all of the red flags that you may encounter, and it's really from a male point of view. But a lot of these can apply to a woman as well, right? And just bear with me. If you got some that you want to add, if you know of some red flags that I didn't mention, go ahead and put them down in the comments so we can, have a discussion about them and, see some things that other people haven't seen or noticed in their relationship. And they might can say, oh, that's something that I didn't pay attention to. I'm glad you brought it up. So now I can start actually looking for these signs and paying attention to what's going on around me, right? So pretty much the first red flag, if you're dealing with a female, is if she's very disrespectful to you and others. So when you dealing with someone, it's very important that you not only pay attention to them when it's just y'all, you should also pay attention to them when they're around other people, and how they interact with other people will kind of give you the content of their character, who they really are, because a lot of times when we try to get into relationships, we always put our good foot forward and we always put on our best behavior, but the real you is always going to come out. So be observant, of these things, especially around other people. So being disrespectful, that's a red flag. Coming out the mouth real disrespectful to you and others, that's a red flag. This is another one right here. If people keep telling you that you're the only one that can deal with this person, I don't know if you ever been told that, but I have. You're the only one that can deal with this person. That's a huge red flag. Why is that? You have to sit back and look and start observing, right? If a person always got issues with other people, every time you turn around, they got a problem with somebody, so that's a red flag to me, and that let me know that you really the problem, because in all these problems that you always having, you're the common denominator in all these problems. So all these people really, they may have a problem, but you got some play in that too. And I start watching you real close to see exactly what it is, so that's another one. If they very messy, and when I say messy, I don't necessarily mean messy like, well, it could be too. Like if they always make us turn a situation messy, like in dealing with people or a situation with people. But the messy I'm talking about is like messy in the house. They not organized, they not clean. That's a red flag to me. I don't like a lot of clutter and things like that. Not to say that you got to be a neat freak, but it's just something about people that keep things messy around them. It ends up being messy in their life too. That's just what I noticed. It may be different for you, but that's just one that came up to me. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's always complaining, but never doing nothing to change their situation. That's a red flag too. Like, let's say gaining weight and they always complaining about their weight, but they never stop eating too much, or they never go for a walk, but they always complaining about their weight or complaining about the lack of money that they have. And it's like, well, why don't you go and get you some? I don't want to keep hearing that. That's a red flag to me, that you unmotivated. You know what I mean? Another one is being ungrateful. If they ungrateful all the time, it's the little things that actually mean a lot, that actually carry a lot of weight. And if from a man's perspective, if I do something small for you and it doesn't like melt your heart, red flag. You ain't my type. Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you should be appreciative of things. You know what I'm saying? Being ungrateful for things that get done for you and it's just like you just blow it off. That's a red flag for me because it's like you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to be happy. There's nothing that I can do to, you know what I'm saying, make you grateful for the things that I'm doing. It already has to be in you. All right. If they act like it's all about them, like everything is just about them, they're not concerned with nothing else but themselves. That's not a person that I say that, it's good to be in a relationship with because they never going to consider you. It's always going to be all about them. Yep. Another one, if they are uncooperative with you and others. So like I said earlier, you got to watch them around other people and see how they cooperate with other people. Is it always a problem? Do they always get to like arguing and things of that nature, and how they interacting with you? Are they uncooperative with you? That's a problem. How do you get somewhere with somebody you can't work with? That's a red flag, being uncooperative. Another one is being unsupportive. You always need support. Men need support. Women need support in some shape, form, or fashion. So if they're not supporting you, they're not important. You know what I mean? So being unsupportive, that's another red flag. This one may just be for me, for real, but if they loud in public, loud and unruly, don't have any self-control, especially from a man's perspective to a woman. If a woman just, because I know, don't get me wrong, it's a certain type of loud. It's like that trashy type of loud. That's what I'm talking about. Not just being loud, like high volume in the voice, but I mean, that real trashy type loud, that's unattractive because it's like, you don't know how to carry yourself. That's how I view that. So that's a red flag to me. It's like, in certain settings, you have to carry yourself a certain type of way. And if you can't control yourself, then, you become an embarrassment to yourself and to whoever you with. So that's why I put that. The next one I got down here is she doesn't take care of herself. You know what I'm saying? She's doing the most. A lot of drinking, a lot of smoking. Her physical appearance ain't really tight, and that's really odd for a woman, in my perspective, that she got to take care of her appearance and really care about herself. Another one is he's highly insecure. Dealing with somebody that's highly insecure, it could become a real drag on you because you always got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you down on something, you got to be strong enough to kind of pick yourself up, especially if I'm throwing you the support and that's not helping either. You got to be strong enough to help yourself sometimes. And if you just stay highly insecure about everything, it puts a strain on the relationship. So that's a red flag to me. That somebody that don't have no kind of confidence in themselves, that's a red flag. Someone who is very suspicious of you. Now, this could be a carryover from their last relationship, and this is why they acting like that. But I mean, like somebody who just don't trust nothing. Everything that I do is like, it got to be something with it. You know what I'm saying? So you always suspicious about it. That's just going to get on my nerves. And that's a red flag to me when you just always suspicious. It's like, what is this for? The next one that I got is they nag you and they get on your nerves. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That's a red flag to me. Like if you constantly on my nerves and just yang, 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 this ain't even gonna work. That's a red flag, And when it comes to these red flags, if you plan on moving forward in the relationship, is a priority that you actually take them very seriously. Because if you don't, when you look back at the situation, probably when y'all breaking up or you just had enough of this person, you're gonna start reflecting on all those red flags that you saw in the beginning. So the point of this red flag situation is to put you in a situation where you're not wasting time. So that's why when you go into a relationship, you gotta know what's the purpose of you doing this? Why are you doing this? What is your end goal? Because These red flags are basically stop signs saying, yo, stop, this is a problem. This is an area or a characteristic of this person that you need to really look at before moving forward. And a lot of times the drive of what our goal is, sometimes we overlook a whole lot of red flags when we really shouldn't. You know, you should pay attention, stop and look and say, you know what, I'm gonna pass on this and move to the next one and start the process all over. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to get too deep in a situation that may be hard to get out of, right? So moving right along, right? So another red flag to me is when they get emotional when you try to address serious things. One of the main things, and I'm gonna do a video on this later, but one of the main things that I find that a lot of couples, mainly women, get emotional about is when you get to talking about money. You know what I'm saying? And you just trying to set everything straight, or it could be anything though, but that's one of the main things I always hear guys talk about, that when they try to talk to their woman about the budget or something like that, or the bills, and you know, because they trying to make power moves and get things together, the women they break down, and it's really a deflection mechanism to really curve the conversation because they really don't want to address that. But we'll talk about that later. But getting very emotional about serious situations, that let me know that, you know, you playing games. That's just how I feel. You playing games and you ain't really trying to be an adult right now about this situation. Don't have time for it. Another one is, this pretty much self-explanatory too, is a red flag to me is if they try to use sex as a weapon of control, you know, to get their way or to punish you or whatever. Red flag. If she or he, if it always got to be their way or the highway, there's no compromise in there, then that's a problem too. You know, that's a red flag, you know, because it's like, it's just inconsideration in some cases, you know. But you know what I'm talking about, your way or the highway, them types, that's a red flag. Another red flag is being lazy. I cannot deal with a lazy woman. For the most part, what I see out here is that a lot of women, for real, they actually are go-getters. They go get the apartment, they go get the job, because a lot of times women, they have a child to support, so they really can't be lazy. And you know, it's mostly the men that's lazy, but that's a topic for another day. But a lazy person, red flag, you know, it's unattractive. Especially, you know, to me, it's unattractive. Lazy female, I can't do it. And I think this should be the last one right here that I got right now. Is the number one thing to me is someone with a bad attitude. Attitude is everything. Like, it's like, if you got a bad attitude, I really don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how bad your body is and how well you dress. But if your attitude is terrible, you're not an attractive person to me. And that's a major red flag. It's a major turn off. And it also could be a major turn on. But in this case, since we're talking about red flags, your attitude, if you got a bad attitude as a person, that's a reflection of your character. And who wants to be around someone with a bad attitude? So look, that's all I got for now on the red flags. But my advice is, when you dealing with somebody that you plan on moving forward with, pay attention to all the red flags, because these are indicators that you need to be aware of or pay close attention to in making your decision on if you really want to move forward in this relationship. You know what I mean? But like I always say, man, I don't know a lot. I know a little bit, and I hope this was helpful to someone. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you think it can help someone. Y'all have a good one.